For the 107th time, Speedway, Indiana welcomes you to the greatest spectacle in racing, the Indianapolis 500. The AT&T Champ Car World Series regulars, who have spent the last 5 races scrapping for every point in position, will be joined today by a combination of new and returning faces that'll make up the grid of 33 that'll take the green flag. I'm Glenn Hardy, and I'll be calling the action for this evening for this very special event. The Champ Car season has brought jaw-dropping moments to each track. And this season, the biggest weekend in motorsports, is not going to be any exception. The skies tell the tale. Weather has been imminent and has been threatening since 8 a.m. this morning. Drivers that were hoping that they could use maybe a bit of strategy won't be able to do so. It must be a push or be pushed out of the way scenario. Rain could end this one early. It's a very interesting dynamic that we've seen on the grid, and this front row is something of interesting tales. For the first time in his career, Tyler Parker will start this race from pole position. He's had a run of bad luck, 2 mechanical failures at Brno and Motegi, as well as an accident at Homestead has left him 21st in points, but he's had 2 pole positions. He had pole position at Homestead, and he's got pole position here. This is a track that can turn disasters into dynasties. Tyler Parker could be on the the edifice of his dynasty today. But he's going to be starting alongside one of the biggest talks of the series the past 2 weeks, Stephanie Porter Kelly, the 2008 winner and 3-time pole sitter of the Indianapolis 500, is starting second. Homestead showed a bit of the dark side in Stephanie Porter Kelly. This is her 12th start. Very few people in this field have started as many Indianapolis 500s as her. She is a threat, and she's going to be very seriously taken this time around. Starting third. This is one of the more interesting tales. Gerard Perth was supposed to be in this car, the number 34 car. He was injured in Homestead with a concussion and deep muscle bruising. He's going to be missing Indianapolis and Texas in 2 weeks' time. So LM Competition have brought in Sebastien Devereaux from Rouen, France. People remember him from 2017. And he's come back. He's been fast all weekend long, and he's in one of the best cars in the grid, by far. It'll be interesting to see how well Devereaux can stay up front. Starting fourth is going to be Giuliano Ansaldi. A podium last time out in Homestead. Was in contention to win until an untimely caution caught him off guard and almost a lap down. But a P4, he's starting up front once again. All three Striker Motorsports cars, excuse me, have been very strong the past several weeks. Um, it's going to be an interesting battle for Ansaldi, for Porter Kelly, for Devereaux. Um, this is Mercedes' time to shine. This is their first Indianapolis 500 in over 2 decades, and they're coming back with a bit of a vengeance. Starting fifth is Hazel Lacasse. She is one of the many rookies. We talked about Ansaldi. We're talking about Lacasse now. She's driving the number 12 for Samsung Racing Team Impulse. She is the second highest Alpine car in the grid. A very last minute entry. She's driving a car sponsored by Samsung. And she's impressive. She led one of the practice sessions. Had one of the fastest times. She's not a joke either. For someone that's never sat foot in a champ car before, she's taken to it really quickly. And she's going to be beside someone who also has taken to champ car very quickly, Mildred Moon. Another very phenomenal qualifying run by Mildred. Puts 2 of the LM Competition cars right there in the top 6. Obviously, she's going to be working well together. Could have it could have had a little bit more at Phillip Island. Um, and outside of bad luck situations, she could have easily had more than one podium this season. She's brave, she's bold, she's brazen, and she's going to lead laps today. Almost a guarantee. Starting seventh is the highlight racing car of Simona Leroux. She did have the team's best finish with her seventh place finish at Brno. Her teammate Rachel Coivanemi finished second at Homestead. So the team dynamic has rapidly shifted the past month. This is a good look for Leroux, who's fighting to keep her seat for 2021. That talk is starting to begin now for a couple teams, Highlight Racing being one of them. A seventh place finish for a team that has invested a lot of money the last 3 years. They need a result today. The second Swiss Miss of the field is starting in eighth. It is Nicole Lechty in the number 81. She's had a bit of a slump the last couple of weeks. She had the points lead, um, but she's been hanging on the edge of the top 10 the last couple of races with St. Pete and Homestead. She needs a little bit more now. Porticali has taken the points lead. Lechty has to start fighting back. A eighth place starting position is a good indicator as to the pace she has in the car. It's a Mercedes powered car, and Mercedes have been dominant all weekend long. Watch for Nicole Lechty to start putting elbows out here. She wants to win this race. This is a race her mother won so many years ago, back in 1999. She'd like to join that list today. BK Glover is starting ninth in the yellow and blue Service King Alpine. Almost won Homestead. A very unforced error took him out of contention. Finished 10th, stayed in the top 10 due to the nature that Homestead was. But that's two podiums now that have been thrown away by miscalculated moves. Hoping for something better, he's in a great position today, a far better position than what he was 2 weeks ago. The season needs to start turning around for BK Glover. The questions have started to be asked. Was this the smart decision? The answer needs to come very soon. Starting 10th is Andrew Draco. Starting as the best of the Honda qualifiers, which tells you really all you need to know about how Honda has done. He is actually starting. Yeah, he's starting 10th. Yeah. I got confused there a little bit because there's been a couple penalties applied. He is starting 10th. He's starting on the outside of row 5. Andrew Draco almost won this race on a couple of occasions. 2017 comes to mind. But he's not actually crossed that border. The 2017 champion would like to take the 500 off the resume, and the pressure's starting them out. Not too sure how much longer he's going to be able to fight at the top with teams like Cat Dove Racing with Impulse. Elm Competition has come in hot and fast. Obviously, Black Rose Racing has come in. The team battling has starting to show its wear and tear here. So Andrew Draco, this is probably his best shot because it might be all downhill. The number 7, this is another substitute driver from Homestead. Jace Clark was another one of those drivers that were injured. He received quite extensive injuries. And in addition to a severe concussion and muscle bruising, he also broke his left wrist in the melee that happened at Homestead. He's going to be out for 3 to 4 races. So the pioneers come back in. Evangeline Porter is stepping into the 7 car for the first time in 4 years. Her last win was in Lausitz in 2016. A lot has changed, but she's sitting just outside the top 10. She's going to be starting 11th. She's got a Mercedes power plant. It's going to be a very fast car. She's a very determined driver. She's a very skilled driver. This is going to come home to her really quickly. keep an eye on that 7 car because it will be moving very quickly through the field. Starting 12th on the outside is Alicia Kovalkiewicz, driving the Gulf Racing Fuels Alpine. This is her second Indianapolis 500. She's a 2-time Champ Car race winner, sweeping the races in Toronto in 2018. She had a run of top 10, top 5 finishes that ended in Brno, and it's been a slump ever since. Ovals have not catered to Kovalkiewicz's strengths very well. It could be a struggle. Kovalkiewicz is a very level-headed driver, so never say never for the Polish mastermind. Ray Taylor, the season opener, was won by Ray Taylor here. One of his drivers has a different appearance this time around, but as the anchor for LM competition, Ray Taylor, definitely something you can't roll out. He is a 3-time Champ Car race winner. He can get it done. It's just a matter of can he get it done at the Brickyard. Thomas Rogers is back. Last race in 2018. Didn't have a ride for 2019 or 2020. Samsung Racing Team Impulse gave him a ride. He did some testing. He was at the Las Vegas test for the team. He's helped do simulator work with Hazel Lacasse. The 5-car effort kind of has started with him in a way, at least for Indianapolis. And he's not in bad company because right beside him, you see the red and white number 3 is Sakura Ishibashi. There was a news piece that came out talking about how the prime of Ishibashi's career was beginning to dawn. She's 26. Her sister has won this race twice. Her sister's team has won this race 3 times consecutively from 2015 to 2017. Her team and her need to step in and do great things. She's been overshadowed for a while. She won at St. Pete. Sakura Ishibashi's time needs to begin now. And that's that way for a lot of drivers. She's not the only one. Looking back at David Russell, this is his first Indianapolis 500-mile race. He's driving the number 14 Phantom Motors Honda. And he's been impressive. He's been consistent. He's been impressive. He's taking care of his cars. This is going to be a very interesting test for him as to if that torch should be passed from Andrew Draco to David Russell, and if so, when does that torch get passed? It's been a running benchmark this season. How does David Russell do against the 2017 world champion? So far, he's been pretty successful, but he's in great company. Isabella Espinosa, 7th generation driver. What do we have to say? She won Motegi. She was born into this race. This race is something her family has reigned supreme over. To not see her enter victory lane the next 2 years is going to be something of mystique. Now you're looking at Cody Blackman. Cody Blackman is starting 18th on the grid today. He is the highest of the 2 Apex Racing Team cars. He had a pretty eventful Homestead, his best finish so far to date. So the question becomes, can he make more of it? This is his best starting position to date. Momentum might be building for the rookie. This is his first start at the 500. Another one making their first start at the 500, Keisha Fox, driving the number 62 Moxie Alpine. She's the second of the Cherokee GP cars, She has been the more timid of the 2. She's been the more successful of the 2 Cherokee drivers. She's sitting top 6 in points, doing a fantastic job. She's been on the podium once. She almost got it again in Homestead. Survived it all. She is known for moving through the field. She is a very methodical driver. She's a very methodical oval racer. Very high praise has come from the team and from other teams regarding Keisha Fox. An amazing recruiting effort put her in the car, and she's made a return on investment. Now we have another one of the Indy 500 only entries. This is the number 20, Akira Sato, a very last minute decision to put Akira Sato in the car. This car, up until 4 weeks ago, was not known to have existed. Creative Racing has been doing a lot of researching. They've been doing a lot of driver development. Akira Sato has risen through those ranks and is the highest of the Cat Dev Racing cars qualifying wise. Akira Sato is going to be starting 20th on the grid today. It's going to be a challenge, but he's on the team that's won 3 Indianapolis 500s within the last 5 years. He might be able to get the job done. Now we come across 5-time Indianapolis 500 champion Christine Espinosa, starting 21st, the worst starting position in her career at the Indianapolis 500. All the championships, all the race wins have meant nothing this season. She's sitting outside the top 20 in points in a team that is known for nothing but dedication and excellence. There is a pent-up aggression in Christine Espinosa, something that we saw come out of Stephanie Porter Kelly 2 weeks ago. That can either be brilliant or terrible, and it's going to be a very intriguing story to follow throughout the 500 miles that we're going to see unleashed today. Starting 22nd is Kaylee Zappa, 3-time Champ Car Race winner. She's the driver that filled the seat that Henna Venalainen drove, and she's held it with pride. Kaylee Zappa is starting pretty low in the field. She's starting near the rest of her teammates, but she's known as she's one of those drivers that may not qualify well, but she can race. Kaylee Zappa is a racer, and she's going to do an absolutely fantastic job, I think, of making it through the field. She's someone I think I picked to win this one. Not usually much of a gambling person, but Kaylee Zappa's got something going on that I think a lot of people won't be able to match, not until it's too late. This is something that some people will be pretty happy about. It is the return of the Allison Alien. Astrid Crane's returned after spending a year off on the shelf. She's driving the number 80, sponsored by the Home Depot. It's good to see Astrid back. Such a talented driver was simply out of a ride in the shuffles that happened in 2019, where the season got canceled and everything shifted. Seeing her come back, seeing Razgrees Racing, which was Eiffel Tower Racing, seeing them reemerge, speaks wonders of the health of the team and just how competitive the series is. Even someone like Astrid Crane can't simply stay away. Rachel Quavanami, hot on the heels of her podium finish 2 weeks ago, not starting in the greatest positions, starting 24th on the grid. This is not an uncommon sight for Rachel Quavanami, but she's been struggling all week long. Preparation for the 500 has not gone her way, and something's going to need to kick in rapidly for her to make something of this race. We talked about this battle between her and Leroux. The team might be reducing itself to a one-car operation at some point in the next couple of years. This battle is going to get a lot more intense. And this is not a good look for Quavanami. Cameron Jackson is starting 25th on the grid. Number 19, sponsored by NTT Data, the Honda-powered car. He's been with Cat Dog Racing ever since 2015. Hasn't yet broken through to show the potential that he's shown on road courses. He won in Manhattan. He's done well. He's gotten podiums, but he needs to show where it counts here. He's on one of the best teams when it comes to the Brickyard, and he's starting 25th. 26th is Anastasius von Sonen. This is another late entry. Kearney Fashido Drive Force. If I butchered that, it's because I haven't practiced it enough. Showing a lot of support. Castrol has joined the grid as a sponsor for the first time. The car looks absolutely sharp. He is the first Austrian driver to grace the field in over 20 years. An interesting statistic there. Driving Honda. Honda, we know, have had issues, but something that must be taken into account, Honda also have the best fuel mileage. And Indianapolis 500s, the great ones are known for being fuel mileage races. He might be in the dominant engine come lap 190. Esterhofsen is starting in 26th position. 27th, excuse me. She is the best qualifying of the Eastern Atlantic Motorsports cars. You see just one row back, the black and yellow of Marcelli starting behind her. Eastern Atlantic Motorsports, bad luck all around for that team. It's affiliated with Cat Dove Racing, so it's not surprising to see them back here with Cat Dove Racing as well. It's a bit of a questionable topic. Is the rear starts deliberate? We knew there was no bump entries. There was no bump qualifying. All 33 entries were guaranteed. Was this a deliberate effort to put everyone in the back? And if so, what's the strategy call? It's a question that has to be raised because all of the Capital Racing cars and both of the Eastern Atlantic cars are sitting all the way in the back. And it continues here. We look at Diego Jaramillo. He's back. His first race since 2018. One of the most talented drivers in the Champ Car grid right now. Was surprisingly left off the full-time roster. He's won 4 races and was a championship contender in 2018. So this is hopefully a chance at redemption, a chance to showcase exactly what he's worth, and he's on a great team. A team that might need to kind of consider some driver changes in the future. Starting right beside him is Kinomitsu Kinoshita, two-time Indianapolis 500 winner. She won in 2015 and 2017. She is the captain of the ship for Cat Devil Racing. She's also the worst starting of the Cat Devil Racing cars. There's 5 in this field. This is not the worst she's ever started. She started as far back as 31st and made it up to the top 10. She won the 2017 race from 28th. She is starting 29th today. Never say never. Patrick Marcelli starting 30th. We talked about Esther Hofson. Patrick Marcelli has had nothing but bad luck. He's sitting 25th in points. Something needs to change with Marcelli. It looks bad. It looks really bad, but he's a part of a program that has put thousands and thousands of miles into preparation, put millions of dollars into fine tuning. For Marcelli to not be in the top half of the field by the time this one's over is going to be a bit of a head scratcher. Starting 31st is Ronald Walker. He is the second of the Apex Racing cars, a very far cry off from Cody Blackman, who's starting 18th. This is the second time in a row that Cody Blackman has out-qualified his more experienced teammate. Not sure what happened to Ronald Walker in qualifying. Seemed like he was going to be okay. He is the farthest back Mercedes-powered car in the grid, and it's not even close. And he is going to be starting alongside in row 16 with Tim Cording. Swift Autosport looked extremely impressive in testing at both Las Vegas, Fontana, and Sebring. But something has gone wrong in the last 3 months. 32nd is not what you want to see. He qualified 33rd. Natalia Kurachenko starting last. Received penalties for reckless driving at Homestead, Miami. So she's starting last. She qualified second. She had the second best time at 39.5 was what she set. She's not going to be sitting last. She's going to be very quickly rising through the field. She's going to want to be there with her teammates, especially by the halfway point, especially with all the leather. You see the dark clouds off in the distance. They have been looming around since 8 a.m. It's been 5 hours and there's no one in sight. But that is the starting grid. Tyler Parker is going to be leading us to green for the first time as the pole sitter for the Indianapolis 500. So we talked about Homestead. We talked about Porter Kelly and the controversy, the accident she caused. Now, we talked about Kurachenko getting a penalty. She received a penalty for reckless driving. She was a lap down and she came across the nose of a car that caused the yellow and got a penalty. Stephanie Porter Kelly was going to receive a suspension. She was going to be suspended for 3 races um, and disqualified from Homestead. However, Striker Motorsports has appealed that. So every bit of Stephanie Porter Kelly's punishment is currently up in the air. There is no guarantee how the sanctioning body, the North American Motor Racing Association, is going to rule. So until they have made their ruling, Stephanie Porter Kelly is free to be able to race, and because the punishment is currently under appeal, she's not starting from the rear of the field. It's a very interesting dynamic. It's a very interesting viewpoint. There's two sides of this viewpoint among the dedicated fans, but she will be starting second on the outside of the front row. Tyler Parker is one of the drivers that she wrecked at Homestead. She wrecked Tyler Parker, Alicia Kovalkiewicz, and Cameron Jackson. This is an interesting dynamic to see because Tyler Parker has had some choice words for Porter Kelly. There is not going to be any love lost. Inversely, you look at Alicia Kovalkiewicz, she's going to be starting the race from 12th position on the outside of row 6. Kovalkiewicz has openly said if she is around Porter Kelly and Porter Kelly tries similar moves that she tried in Homestead, it's not going to end well. And obviously, that message was received by the sanctioning body and by the organizers, Horizon Corporation. And it's something that they're keeping an eye on. That is what they told all the media this morning. They're keeping an eye on the situation between Kovacevic and Porter Kelly. What that means, we might be finding out today. Strategy, we talked about it. Strategy is not going to necessarily matter. Everyone's going to be pushing hard almost the entire race with rain looming from start to finish. But the pit window is still important. 35 to 39 laps is the estimated pit window. Now that could change. The conditions that we saw in practice and qualifying were sunny and clear. Those conditions obviously no longer exist. It is windy, it is colder, it is grippier. We could be seeing speeds similar to what we saw in qualifying because it is colder and because it is grippier. And we could be seeing racing that is a bit closer together. This package was meant to kind of push things separate apart. Now, obviously, it didn't work at Homestead, but they made changes to the rear wing to make sure that they put as little downforce on the car as possible. Mechanical grip could still be king. So, and a pretty big key, aside from watching the tire wear, is who has mechanical grip dialed up? Who has the suspension dialed in to handle the cooler weather? This is something teams may have been hoping wouldn't be the full race, but it's definitely going to be here the entire time. And you can see the 3 Juggernaut teams in the series are all in the front in the top 6. Team Impulse, Striker, Elm Competition. Those 3 teams have been by and far the leaders, and they are all the top 6. 2 Impulse cars, 2 Allen Competition cars, 2 Striker Motorsports cars. That is the top 6 in a nutshell.
Drivers, start your engines!
And there's the command. They're about to start rolling here. Now the field, as I said before, will start 2 wide. So everyone's going to get set here. Field's being led by the Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 pace car. For the second time in the season, it's going to be Tyler Parker leading us to the green flag. 400,000 have packed in the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the largest capacity venue in the world. To those watching around the world, we're glad you joined us because it's going to be one for the record books. Coming out of turn 3, with 33 drivers in 8 and 17 rows. Almost at 18. 17 rows. Coming out of turn 4. Pace car has pulled off. We are underway. Green flag here in Indianapolis. And Tyler Parker immediately gets clear of Stephanie Porticelli. Side by side behind Porticelli is Lacasse and Sebastian Devereaux. Hazel Lacasse trying to get close to the front immediately. Tyler Parker looks like he will lead the first lap of the Indianapolis 500. And Lacasse is going to look to the bottom. Not going to get to him this time. Simona Leroux moves up to third. It's a single file line for the top 3. Leroux's going to make a move for the bottom and pulls out behind Lacasse to take second place. It's a bit more messy and disorganized further back, but it's 2 by 2 behind the front 2. Tyler Parker has led the first 2 laps of the 500. Then it's Simona Leroux and Andrew Draco. BK Glover's moved up to 4th. And look at the battle for 5th. It's Lacasse and Evangeline Porter. Leroux's going to make a look at it. May try to make a move going into turn 1. Tyler Parker's going to lead this lap as well. See, it's single file for the first 6 cars. Cody Blackman is sitting in 8th. Mistaked him for Ray Taylor. Ray Taylor's sitting 5th. Both of them have pretty similar designs. Ray Taylor's the one I was wanting to talk about. tried to make a move on Evangeline Porter before thinking otherwise. Ray Taylor makes a move on Simone Leroux. Porter and Taylor are going to follow. First 5 laps have been led by Tyler Parker, and that's going to change going into turn 1. Andrew Draco's going to take it away. Now here comes the roulette wheel of potential lap leaders. Draco moved Tyler Parker out of the way, but won't even get to see the start-finish line. It's Evangeline Porter that takes it away, and she's not going to be able to keep it because there's Ray Taylor. Now the passing really begins. Ray Taylor is going to try to lead lap 6. Looking at Sakura Ishibashi as she leads the inside line. Ray Taylor couldn't keep it clear. So Ishibashi's going to get to the inside and going to pull ahead here in turn 2. Impulse teammates, Ishibashi and Rogers. Rogers in the black and silver on the inside. Cody Blackman second in line on the inside. Thomas Rogers hoping to lead his first lap in 2 years. Will do so fairly unchallenged this time. See Isabel Espinosa in the white and blue, Kelly Zappa in the GoPro car, the number 17. It's Kelly Zappa, then Akira Sato in his first ever Champ Car event. Cat Racing cars moved up to the front really quick. Rogers, Zappa, Sato. That is the top 3. A Scuderia Gia card for side-by-side for 4th. Christina Espinosa moving on the bottom. Keisha Fox has moved into the top 10 as well. See, the field has split up pretty significantly. Cameron Jackson stuck back here. This is the rear of the field. Von Sonnen is in the back as well. Same with Tim Cording. Diego Jaramillo. Patrick Marcelli, Kinemisa Kinoshita, Ronald Walker, Esther Hofson, and Natalia Kurachenko. That is about 5 seconds back off the lead pack. That has most of the field in it. Thomas Rogers still leading. Akira Sato is going to try to make a move. Still single file for the first 5. Alpine, then 2 Hondas is the top 3. Best Mercedes at the moment is in 5th. That's Mildred Moon. The field is beginning to disperse a little bit. Trying to calm down here. Mildred Moon is moving on Keisha Fox. That'll move her back pretty significantly. She's not going to have any help. Akira Sato is going to make a move on the inside. An attempt to take the lead. Thomas Rogers leads that lap. But Sato's going to take it coming into turn 1. He gave up the space too early. Christina Espinosa is going to take the lead here on the backstretch. Mildred Moon's still trying to make the charge to the front. She's got Giuliano and Saldi behind her. Steffi Porter-Kelly got shuffled back quickly, but has made her way back to the front. playing both lanes here, it looks like. She's a driver who has a rivalry with just about everyone right now, especially with the driver right behind her in Christina Espinoza. Kaylee Zappa's to the inside, trying to take third away. Mildred Moon led that last lap. Rachel Koivu-Namis moved her way up. She is the first one on the bottom there beside Stephanie Porter-Kelly. The Nokia branded car. Astra Crane has finally made her way up near the front. That's for fifth. Mildred Moon's trying to get the lead back, and Salty leads his first lap at the 500. Interesting group of cars right now. It's Moon, Koivu-Nami, Crane, Lechty, Zappa, and Salty, LaRoe, all in the front of this pack. Mildred Moon with an amazing gap over the rest of the field. That's going to close rapidly now. Crane is in second. Lechty moves up to third. LaRoe going to try to battle and challenge for that. Mildred Moon trying to keep a bit of distance between her and Astra Crane. Lechty trying to get by Crane. That was a really late move. But Crane's going to give it away. Thinking better of it and preserving the car. The two Swiss drivers in the field. Lechty's known as the Iron Maiden. LaRoe's known as the Swiss Miss. The Iron Maiden made it known that she meant it. A very rough pass on Crane shuffled her all the way near the back of the top 10. Lechty's wanting that race lead. And Thomas Rogers trying to get back to it. And behind Rogers is Sebastian Devereaux. Hazel Lacasse, who we've talked about really early on, finally back to the top 10, back to the top 5, as Devereaux moves to third. Teammates first and third with Moon and Devereaux. And Ray Taylor's not far behind, that is sixth. Devereaux making a move to the inside to try to pick off second. Does so with ease. No one's going to really try to go. Lacasse gets stuck by Evangeline Porter. Lechty chops off her teammate. Her teammate and team owner right behind her. Evangeline Porter sitting fourth. It's Elm Competition 1-2. Black Rose Racing 3 and 4. And then Elm Competition currently sitting in fifth with Ray Taylor. Champ Car's Canadian team has come in force for the 500. Devereaux's going to go for the race lead now. Mildred Moon gets passed by Devereaux and will get passed by Lechty as well. Ray Taylor's going to try to follow through too. .220 miles an hour is the race pace. The fastest ever Indianapolis 500 was in 2017. It was 205 miles an hour. To put that in retrospect, there was only one caution that year. But the cars also touched 230 miles an hour. Sebastian Devereaux. The return's complete. He's led laps here at Indianapolis. The first time Devereaux's led laps at Indianapolis. And he's going to lead more than one. Ray Taylor made a look for second. Lecty closed the door. This lead pack is composed of 24 cars, excuse me. The rest of the field is from 25th on down is in that second group. Devereaux is on the point. You see that the field is smoothing out quite substantially. The tires are beginning to wear. Nicole Lecty's going to make a move. The comeback's been completed. Lecty let the sweep moment happen, and now she wants to lead. Nicole Lecty will lead this lap, lap 21 in the books. Ray Taylor's going to take it away, exiting turn 1. Keisha Fox wants to lead lap as well. This is her first 500. She's going to sit behind Ray Taylor here, going towards turn 3. The challenge is on. Keisha Fox moves to the inside. She will not have it. She's going to close back in. LaRoe's going to lose momentum and lose a position here. Mildred Moon's going to try to take 2, going into the backstretch. And she'll do it. Mildred Moon up to second. BK Glover in the yellow and blue, battling for third. 220.1 miles an hour now the average race speed. These cars are flying. Average race speed is 227 miles an hour. But the tires are beginning to wear. And you see that the average is starting to come back down just a little bit as the tires begin to wear and reach their peak. Mildred Moon's been leading quite a share of the laps here. Tyler Parker led the first 5. Hazel Lacasse has still been fighting to stay up in this top group. Lacasse sticks it to the bottom. Tyler Parker has to move to give way. So it's going to be Lacasse take second and Devereaux will take third. 3 of the Impulse cars sitting right there for the Impulse cars. Thomas Rogers is also in this top 6. Devereaux makes a move on Lacasse. Simple pass for second. And Lacasse will stay third. Very clean move. That is Astrid Crane with problems. That is Astrid Crane with a lot of issues. Something has happened to that 80 car. Devereaux has checked out because of the ensuing melee. There's the gap. Crane is trying to stay out of the way here. So now everyone's going to try to get past Astrid Crane. Could be a sign of a terminal problem. There's no damage on the car. But she's definitely having a bad time of it right now. Astrid Crane doing her best to stay out of the way here. Mildred Moon was stuck behind her. Still gonna be stuck behind her. And so if you look at the speed, yeah, that's a massive speed difference. There is a loss of power on that number 80. 20 miles an hour the difference. And that changes the complexity of this race. Devereaux finally got past Lacasse. Now has inherited the lead. If she can lead a lap here. Lacasse is going to lead her first lap at Indianapolis. Lap 28 in the books. 3 impulse cars in the top 5. But the field's starting to come back together here. You see this, the rest of the field trying to get through and try to get by. Von Sonen's getting by. Walker, Cording, Hoffson, Jackson. And there's problems. Tyler Parker got put in the wall. 3 wide is what they did there. It was Marcelli, Jaramillo, and Tyler Parker. A very risky situation there. Simona LaRose going to try to lead a lap here. The action's moving throughout the entire field now. Simona LaRose, new race leader. Evangeline Porter sitting second. The drivers did a fantastic job to avoid causing an accident. So all 33 cars are still running. Kelly Zappa's also had issues. Kelly Zappa's nowhere near as slow. But Kelly Zappa is 2 laps down. This is an interesting predicament. The field has been narrowed down. And it's an interesting top 5 we have here. It's LaRose, Porter, Isabel Espinosa, Steffi Porter-Kelly, and Sakura Shibashi. Then you have Keisha Fox in 6th. 7th and 8th, it's a battle between Cody Blackman and Thomas Rogers. Hazel Lacasse is still in this group, so is Sebastian Devereaux. Giuliano Insaldi and Akira Sato round out the top of this group. This is a group that is 12 strong now. Kaylee Zappa now finding her footing. Not sure if she's up to pace here. I don't believe she is, but she's not as slow as Asher Crane. One would have to assume that there was contact between the 2 of them that have caused damage. Because there's Crane now, and you see that her natural pace is below 200 miles an hour. That is a significant issue. But we're back to Simona LaRose leading this group. With a chance of rain looming, we talked about in the pre-race, no one's really been able to sit down and idle. It's been an ever-changing environment. Isabel Espinosa is going to try to make a run for the lead. Look to the inside, couldn't make it happen. Sakura Shibashi, meanwhile, passes Stephanie Porter-Kelly. That's for third. And Sebastian Devereaux will follow her through. We are getting super close to the pit window. Pit window should be opening this lap. So we will absolutely see who's going to be the first to come in. Race pace has begun to drop. Mildred Moon looks like she was the first one to come in. No, that's Tyler Parker. Tyler Parker has come in. And Tyler Parker is one lap down. And a lot of people coming in. A very interesting entry situation. Thomas Rogers. Big move entering pit lane. And there will be a couple others that follow. So the original four that were in the lead pack, four stayed out. Porter-Kelly, Porter, Ishibashi, and Isabel Espinosa. Porter's coming in, so is the rest of the top four. Kaylee Zapp is going to try to get some of her last back. Mildred Moon stays out. So does Esther Hobson. It is a very busy pit lane. First cycle of green flag pit stops seems to have been completed without a hitch. Simona Leroux on point. It's Leroux, then it's going to be Isabel Espinosa, Sebastian Devereaux. Giuliano and Solly's caught up here. Thomas Rogers as well. Asher Crane's leading this group right now. Then you have Sakura Shibashi, Evangeline Porter, Hazel Lacasse, Keisha Fox. Stephanie Porter-Kelly had a slow stop, so did Akira Sato. There is Cody Blackman and Christina Espinoza. So the lead group is getting by Asher Crane now. And this lead group is 9 cars strong. There's a lot to play for here, on top of being an Indianapolis 500 champion. Teams are very hungry to get this win. $6 million is the purse for the race winner. It is the largest purse in Indianapolis 500 history. There is a lot to fight for. See, there's Tyler Parker, who is back on the lead lap, I believe. Patrick Marcelli is the first retirement. He quietly retired due to a tire issue. The bad luck has continued for Patrick Marcelli. Thierry Jaramillo's lost the draft as well. You have the Falcon, the Phantom Motors cars sitting together. That's 27th and 28th. Alicia Kovacevic not having a good run of it either. That's 25th. Richard Koivanemi, who at one point was challenging for the race lead, is back down to 24th where she started. Ronald Walker 23rd. Nicole Lechty's out with an engine failure. We saw that just pop up on the leaderboard. So one of the Black Rose Mercedes are out of the race. The second generation Nicole Lechty will not win the Indianapolis 500 this year. Looking at this other group here, this is around 20th position. It's got Kinoshita, Jackson, Kurachenko, Glover, Hoffson, Porter Kelly's in this group. Porter Kelly's kind of just been stuck behind Astrid Crane. Mildred Moon's back here. Anastasios von Sonnen. Ray Taylor's back here as well. This is the group after this group of three. Akira Sato, Christina Espinoza, and Cody Blackman. That's 10th, 11th, and 12th that we're looking at in your screen right now. Trying to stay as far ahead of Ray Taylor and company as possible. Trying to close in on this lead pack. Giuliano Ansaldi with another lap led. Ansaldi, Lacasse. Then it's Porter, Leroux, Devereaux in 5th. Looking at Evangeline Porter, one of the two substitute drivers, Devereaux being the other one right in frame. Porter talked to media saying that she wasn't sure how she handled. The car that she drove in 2016 is a completely different animal. A completely different beast. We talked about the change in the aero, the change in the grip, the change in the tires, how different it was going to be. This is the highest she has run at Indianapolis in a very long time. She's looking very good. Her and Devereaux both. They've translated their experience in the DW12, the IR12, and the HV17, the upgrades to those vehicles. They handled those changes extremely well. Porter's going to cycle back here to the end of this line down the 9th. Actually, looks like she's going to hold on to 7th. Use the draft to stay 7th ahead of Ansaldi. They have caught up to Tyler Parker, who had to pit off sequence. They quickly dispatch Tyler Parker here. We've been caution-free so far this race. A far cry from the events that happened at Homestead just 2 weeks ago. Drivers are beginning to go a lap down. Diego Jaramillo looks like he's going to be the next one to go. Keisha Fox just used him as a pick to try to get a hold of the race lead. And will do so. To the inside, underneath Jaramillo. Thomas Rogers is going to follow. We have completed a quarter of the race distance. 125 laps, 125 miles are in the books, excuse me. Tim Cording has come in. That is an unscheduled pit stop as well. Tim Cording was doing well, was up 10 spots, but he's had to make an unscheduled pit stop. That does not do well for the Swift Autosport team. You saw there Cody Blackman scrape the wall there pretty substantially. It seems like drivers are having a bit more difficulty handling dirty air now that the race has gone away and that the track has started to get rubbered in. Again, this is 10th, 11th, and 12th that we're looking at with Tim Cording mixed in. This is the lead group having to dispatch Crane and Kaylee Zappa. That is an interesting conundrum. So that's going to put Devereaux back to the front. Devereaux, Espinoza, Leroux, and then Thomas Rogers top four. Lacasse is fifth. Then you have Insaldi trying to get back through. Hopefully trying to use the lap cars as a pick. Devereaux once again on point. Devereaux is running the gauntlet pretty well. He's only scheduled to make 2 appearances this year. Gerard Perth sitting out for concussion reasons mostly. As well as muscle bruising, as we talked about in the pre-race broadcast. Devereaux's return is very short-lived, and he's making the most of it. Definitely making a claim for most laps led in the Indianapolis 500. The first time he's been able to do such a thing. This is his best starting position in the 500 as well. Started third. And he's in pretty good company. And Espinoza, Thomas Rogers, who's a 3-time race winner. Hazel Lacasse, who has been one of the most phenomenal rookies to appear in the race so far this year. And then Simona Leroux, who has been consistently top 5 in this event. Top 5 are bow and stern. You have Porter and Salty, Fox, Ishibashi, and Jaramillo. Jaramillo seems to be able to stick it in a little bit. Jaramillo seems to be one of those drivers that just lost the draft in the pit stop cycle. Not a wounded car. Just unfortunate for Jaramillo that he's just stuck a lap down right now. This mid group is starting to pick up a lot of steam. And that's why Astra Crane finally dispatched 2 more Cat Devil Racing cars. Cat Devil Racing having a ton of issues right now. Seems like the era of dominance for Cat Devil Racing at the Brickyard might have come to an end tonight. They didn't win in 2018, but they look strong. They've been nowhere today. Pit stops are still about 8 to 10 laps away. The top 5 have pulled away. It's a 3-second gap between Rogers and Porter. Lacasse moving on Isabel Espinosa. It's Devereaux, who's been leading most of the laps recently, adding a lot to his stat sheet for his champ car career. But Lacasse is getting a bit hungry here, trying to get the lead before pit stops. Simona Leroux sitting 3rd. Highlight Racing were at one point renowned for their results in the Indianapolis 500. The last couple of years have been everything but renowned for good finishes, for results. This year seems to have been a bit of a resurgence. The team is being principled by Rita Lechty, the 1999 Indianapolis 500 champion. The restructuring, reprofiling of the team seems to have started doing wonders. Looking as the leaders are trying to navigate their way through traffic. There are 25 cars still on the lead lap. 2 cars are out of this race. Alicia Kovalkiewicz just went a lap down. So did Rachel Koivanami. Diego Jaramillo and Tyler Parker are all 1 lap down. Tim Cording, Kaylee Zappa are all 3 laps down. Esther Crane is 5 laps down, but 23 now still on the lead lap. 31 still running. Isabel Espinosa's dropped off the pack here pretty substantially. Curious as to why that is the case. She was hanging with the top 5. Now she's about to drop out of the top 10. And Salty, Porter, Ishibashi, and Fox are this group of 4 that's passing her now. The rain situation doesn't look any better. Look off in the distance. Those are some dark clouds. Rain has been sort of encapsulating the area. Reports of rain in downtown Indianapolis and other areas surrounding the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So far, it's staying dry. You see that it's clear in one area. Look how dark it gets over towards the north end. Almost half the track surrounded by rain. Whatever it is, Ishibashi found her bearings and she's able to hold on to this lead group again. Well, not the lead group, but the second group of 5. The lead group's in this pack here. Looks like it's a group of 7. Koivanavi's hanging in here. She's helping out with her teammate. So both highlight cars are in this group. 2 of the Impulse cars are here. Phantom Motorsports car of Andrew Draco's in this group, and then you have Alicia Kovalkiewicz for Cherokee GP. Pit stop should be beginning in full in about 1 lap. I believe the pit window opens next lap. Some amazing talent have come out to shine in this event. Hazel Cass has shown to be in absolutely phenomenal shape preparing for this race. Her and Thomas Rogers, did a brunt of the prep work in the simulators for Samsung Racing Team Impulse, and both those cars are the ones representing the team in the top 4. Simona LaRoe has shown phenomenal form carrying her team. And then obviously Sebastian Devereaux, his first time back in 4 years. In 3 years, excuse me. He raced 2017. made sure Kelly Zappa stayed out of the way. Really interesting move there. But it throws another lap car, and that puts both of the Samsung Racing Team Impulse cars behind Kelly Zappa. They need to dispatch Zappa immediately. Lacasse does. And Thomas Rogers will follow suit. Hopefully without losing the draft too awful much. You lose the draft, and it's a long way down, 8 seconds, all the way back to 5th place. Lacasse and Rogers have caught back up to this group. So we still have 4 contesting for the race lead in this pack, this main group that we're watching. Looking at Koivu here as she tries to hang on here. Has to be a bit infuriating for Koivu to watch her teammate do so well. 3 of the race leaders have come in. Hazel Lacasse has stayed out, so she's going to lead more laps. A very bold strategy from the rookie. Lacasse is coming in this time. That extra lap with draft may have helped. Ishibashi's going to try to take the lead here. It's going to be Ishibashi and Isabel Espinoza. A very busy pit lane for the second round of pit stops. Ishibashi's coming in, so is Espinoza. And Saudi will stay out, but he is, I think he pit a couple laps ago. So the lead is going to cycle through here. See if we can find who has it. Another issue for Tim Cording. He is staying well off of the track. He is out of power. That is a significant issue for Tim Cording. Tim Cording is completely out of power. It looks like he went to a battery backup here. He's back to revs. But that is a significant issue for the 50 car. The Swift Autosport team already having troubles. And now it's even worse as he's coming to pit lane. A very interesting development there for the Swift Autosport camp. This should be for the race lead. Hazel Lacasse, Sebastian Devereaux, and it is. It is Devereaux, Lacasse, and Leroux. Oh, watch out! There's an accident. LaRoe and Lacasse. They're keeping it off the racing line. But there's our first yellow of the race. The first caution of the 107th Indianapolis 500 happens on lap 78. Right as the pit cycle ended. And we'll go and take a look at that. Lacasse and LaRoe both had two of the fastest cars in the field. We'll have to go back and take a look. We'll take a look here. This is that lap. Devereaux makes his move on Lacasse. Lacasse is simply in the gray. Lacasse is in the gray, touches the wall, and LaRoe's there. Something I haven't touched on was how sensitive these cars are to the grip. But a great heads-up drive, especially by Ishibashi, to come out of the gray to avoid hitting both Lacasse and LaRoe. So pit stops are happening. First yellow of the day. And we'll see where everyone cycles out. Turns 3 and 4, in modern history, have been known as being pretty wild. That was a very tame accident. Both cars kept themselves on the ground, didn't climb the wall or anything. And both cars were able to still roll. See, they put a new front wing on LaRoe's car. So the strategy here is pretty interesting. Alicia Kovacevic will be controlling the restart. She is technically not a lap down. She's 25th, technically not a lap down, but she will not be getting a waiver route, I don't believe. So she'll be controlling the restart. The actual race leader is Isabel Espinosa, 7th generation driver from the Espinosa family. One half of the naming of the trophy for the Indianapolis 500 champion, the Germain Espinosa trophy. Rachel Covenamy is sitting 27th, second car one lap down. I don't know why I was saying Covenamy. We're looking at Natalia Kurachenko, who started last in this race. Kurachenko sitting second after starting 33rd. Esther Hofson got really lucky. Has been sitting outside the top 20 almost the entire race. Now finds herself third. Christina Espinoza, the second of the Escuderia Gia cars, sits fourth. Stephanie Porter Kelly sits fifth. Evangeline Porter sits sixth. Seventh is Sebastian Devereaux. Eighth is Giuliano Insaldi. Ninth is Sakura Ishibashi. 10th is Thomas Rogers. Nicole Leckie is out of this race, one of the first retirements of the event. 11th, first one outside the top 10, is BK Glover. So 3 impulse cars in frame as we get ready to go green. It's Ray Taylor. Then the second car one lap down is Koivu Niemi. Then you have Anastasius von Sonen in his first 500. He is sitting in 13th. 14th is Keisha Fox. 15th is Cameron Jackson. 16th is Hazel Lacasse, who was involved in that last accident. And we are back to green as we go through the rest of the top 20. There's Akira Sato, David Wessel, Ronald Walker, Andrew Draco, Cody Blackman, Kinemitsu Kinoshita, Mildred Moon, and you see the check up here. Not everyone was back up to speed. But you see LaRose stuck in this group, and then the field was led to green by Alicia Kovacevic. Kurachenko inherits the race lead. Hassan is cycling her way back. Kurachenko, Porter-Kelly, both of the Espinoza cars sitting here. Evangeline Porter sitting in the top 5 as well. Sebastian Deveros found his way back. Second group's trying to make its way to the front here. It's got Insaldi, Glover, Taylor, Thomas Rogers. It's got Rachel Koivu Niemi. It's got Sakura Shibashi and Keisha Fox. It's got some strength to it. Is it enough strength to get up to the race leaders? Stephanie Porter-Kelly leads. This is her 11th Indianapolis 500 that she's led, her 12th total. Only race she didn't lead was her rookie year. Deveros found himself back to 3rd after being shuffled back to 7th on that restart. Take a snapshot of this. The Porter sisters 1-2 at Indianapolis. Right on cue, because Deveros about to try to mess it up. Deveros made a look and couldn't make it stick. It's Porter-Kelly, then Evangeline Porter, Sebastian Devereaux sitting 3rd, Christina Espinoza 4th, Natalia Kurachenko from last led a lap, sitting 5th. Devereaux takes 2nd away. And LaRose in pit lane. Issues for LaRose. Still. Lingering damage. You see, definitely there's some issues with the 80 and the 50. Some lingering issues with those two cars. And Kaylee Zappa as well. The gap isn't that far between the two groups. 2.3 is the gap between the lead group and the second pack. Leroux coming out of pit lane now. Cycling between the two groups. That was a really tight move. Kovalkiewicz trying to get her lap back. Christina Spinoza gets a lap lead. Esther Hofson in her first Indy 500 trying to lead a lap. She's sitting second. She's not going to get it this time. Porter takes the lane away. Porter going to try to lead a lap here. A 7 car back out front. Kurachenko is not going to let that happen. Porter Kelly stuck in a conundrum. She's going to back out and let it happen on its own. Kurachenko and Porter side by side going into turn 4. Porter Kelly will step in line behind her teammate, her protege, as Kurachenko will lead once again. Refreshing change of pace, some new faces in this front group. Only 2 faces from before the yellow, and that was Isabel Espinosa and Sebastian Devereaux. That second group not working well together, at least they weren't. It's dropped down to 4.3 seconds between the leader and them. And this is Keisha Fox, Sakura Shibashi, Cameron Jackson, BK Glover. You have Ray Taylor in this group as well, and then Ray Taylor. And Thomas Roger. I said Ray Taylor twice. Pardon me. Some stragglers here. You've got Draco, Ronald Walker, Anastasius von Sonen, Akira Sato, Cody Blackman, Mildred Moon, Giuliano Insaldi, Simona Leroux, still dealing with some massive issues. Yeah, David Wessel, Kinemisa Kinoshita, Tyler Parker, Diego Jaramillo, Hazel Lacasse. You have Kaylee Zappa, Astrid Crane, and there's the leaders coming up on Crane and Tim Courting. See, Porticali was trying to move. Devereaux blocked it off. Devereaux's going to inherit the lead next lap, more than likely. Devereaux, Porter, and Kurachenko made it through pretty clear. So did Alicia Kovalkiewicz. Porter Kelly gets by. Here we go. Crane and Tim Courting just helped that second group catch up. But now there's a bigger problem. Teammates for Apex Racing Team, sitting right there, Walker and Blackman. And Salty, Akira Sato, Evangeline Porter up to the front with the lap lead. We are approaching halfway. The 107th Indy 500. 400,000 strong in the capacity. From the grandstands to the infield parking, the camping areas. Devereaux's making a fantastic case for most laps led. Karchenko's coming to play. Coming up now on Hazel Lacasse, who was involved in that caution. Very unfortunate. Just entered too high into turn 3 and couldn't keep it off the wall. And collected Simona Leroux in the process. We have started lap 100. It is getting real. On the backstretch now. Some new faces in this lead group. BK Glover's joined the party. So is Ray Taylor. As it stands right now, we are on pace to set the record for the fastest 500-mile race in Champ Car history. Kurachenko's pretty content sitting behind Lacasse. Devereaux and company or not. Devereaux looks to the inside trying to reclaim the lead. And look at that nest of cars behind. The gang's caught up. Glover's going to inherit second. 2015 pole sitter. Often overlooked in that regard. Glover knows how to find speed at the Brickyard. Esther Hobson finds her way back to third. Ray Taylor fourth. Evangeline Porter fifth. Mildred Moon's caught back up. You have Ronald Walker, Cameron Jackson, Cody Blackman, Thomas Rogers. And Salty's caught back up to this group as they all try to navigate Hazel the Cass. And they seem to be able to do so. The lead pack has found its way back. Now they're all going to try to navigate LaRoe, Devereaux, and Glover touch wheels. That was a sight to behold. Three wide through the short chute. And they made it stick. Jackson and Glover. What a maneuver. For those wondering why it's picked up, thunderstorms reported 15 miles south of Speedway, Indiana. The rain has arrived. Is it gonna hit the Speedway? We are past halfway. If rain comes, it can be called official. Last time a race ended early because of rain, it was in 2014. Mildred Moons found her way back to the front. New faces now in this front pack. Ronald Walker, a podium finisher in 2018. Uncanny how quick he's able to find the front when he gets to the second half of the race. Cameron Jackson talked about in the pre-race how he needed to start showing he could do something at the Speedway. He is carrying the flag for Cat Devil Racing now. Mildred Moon continues to lead. It's Moon, Porter, and Salty. And Salty's going to try to take second away. The battling is now in full swing. And you see the rain. The clouds have surrounded the entire Speedway. The weather has moved. These cars are next in line to be caught by the leaders. Reminder that $6 million is the purse for the race winner. $6 million. The average cost of a full season entry is between $7 and $8 million. A team can nearly recover an entire year of operation just by winning this race. How important is it? Very important. And we're about to find out. Mildred Moon's catching up to Courting and Crane. They are starting to get by. Pit stops have begun. Saw cars coming out of pit lane. That is Esther Hofson. Espinosa's in. Kenosha's next one. The field got caught up behind Courting. Of the lead pack, who's going to come in first? It's not going to be any of the top five. Courting and Crane have held up most of this pack. It's 2 by 2. Not a great look. Certainly frustrating. Most of these drivers spent multiple laps. Now drivers starting to go. Devereaux is in that group, so is Porter. Ronald Walker, Thomas Rogers, Ray Taylor. Several fast drivers are stuck behind Crane and Courting. They're going to try to go 3 wide here. Thought better of it. Everyone's staying out. The pressure is on. The drops of rain were reported in amongst the golf course. So I was wondering, wind gusts have approached 15 miles an hour, making it really difficult going into the short chutes of turns 1 and turn 3. Drivers are beginning to come in. Glover, Porter Kelly were the first ones to bite. Devereaux and Porter working together trying to get closer to the leaders. It's a lot of work they have to do. And Salty and Moon, side by side, going into turn 4 now. Are either of them coming in? They are not. Trying to play the numbers game now. Devereaux leads Porter, Koivanemi. Trying to shave that gap down. Porter Kelly is going to come out right with this group. Going to play a bit of a spoiler. Porter's coming in. There's a lot of people came in. So Devereaux's going to lead. Devereaux's getting a massive toe off of Glover. That helps. Devereaux coming in this time. be interesting to see where the lead cycles out too. Because Modron Moon's out of pit lane now. Pretty evenly spread out. See Von Sonnen exiting pit lane. One of the new teams, the Champ Car. Devereaux comes out right behind Porter, so Porter did leapfrog him. See the field here getting by Kaylee Zappa. Beginning with the leaders, it's Moon and Glover. Glover back to the front. LaRose back in. Now they're trying to get past Astrid Crane as LaRoe comes back out. So we're watching right now. It's Moon and Salty. Then it's Ishibashi, BK Glover, and then Stephanie Porter-Kelly. That is the top 5. And that's the battle for the lead right here. And Salty, that's a photo. Right across the line. Moon held onto it. And Salty will take it clear this time. Now they're going to have to try to navigate Tim Courting. Everyone's trying to get through. It's a bit choppy. Mildred Moon, again, kind of caught off here. Sakura Ishibashi now to the lead. Ishibashi, Devereaux. Devereaux's got a magnet attached to whoever's in first. Always finding his way to the front this time around. Ishibashi, Glover, Devereaux top 3. Not in that order. Devereaux's trying to get to the lead. Will do so. Almost contact between teammates. That would not be a fun conversation on Monday. And engine out. Kenosha will not be finishing this one. What a heads-up driving to avoid making that any worse. She's not making it back. She is trying. She's not making it. It's gone. He's off the racing line. Is that going to draw the yellow? It does not. She's off the racing line. They stay green. Very professional driving from Kinemitsu Kinoshita. Two-time Indy 500 winner. Won't see the finish this time. Devereaux, Ishibashi, then Glover. Westlow and Kovalkiewicz are not in the lead lap. Exactly 20 cars left on the lead lap. 29 cars be left running. 30 cars would be left running. My apologies. Again, we're down to a group of 5. Devereaux, Glover, Kurachenko, Porter, and Ishibashi. That's the 5 that's unlead lap in this pack. Kovacevic in the 96, Koivanemi in the 77, Wessel in the 14 are all not on the lead lap. And can't forget that Ronald Walker, who finished second in 2018, is sitting 6th right at the tail end. This is the lead pack. Porter Kelly, guy held back by Hazel DeCass, and Salty, Moon, straggled because of Crane and Courting. Then you have Cameron Jackson, Ray Taylor, Esther Hofson, Cody Blackman, Isabel Espinoza, Andrew Draco, Thomas Rogers, you have Keisha Fox and Akira Sato, Christina Espinoza, Anastasius von Sonen in his first 500, doing the best he can to stay on the lead lap. But the gap's closing. There's Devereaux and company, Devereaux, Kurachenko, and the rest of this lead pack. It's calmed down quite a bit from the start, and from the halfway point, it's definitely calmed down. At this point, Devereaux surely has most laps led in hand. Devereaux also has fastest lap with 40.106 is the fastest lap, and it's par for the course. Devereaux's been one of the most consistent forces up front all race long. It's about to get really interesting, though, as they come up on a pack of 4. Crane, Espinoza, Von Sonen, and Jaramillo are on this group. Devereaux had to check up. Kurachenko went for it. Von Sonen's going to try to stay on the lead lap here. And this is going to be all for position. This is all position. Devereaux got caught out pretty badly by that. And Tim Cording is going to ensure that Von Sonen ends up going a lap down here. Reminder that there's no damage on the 50 or the 80. Issues that the 50 and the 80 are having are all internal. They're all electrical. But in the case that something does happen, is there's too much on the line to simply park it. As long as they can utilize full control of their vehicles, they've been permitted to keep going. But it is a hairy situation nonetheless. Kurachenko, Porter, Glover is top three. We've had one yellow so far in this event, and that was on lap 78 for Hazel Lacasse and Simona Leroux. Both cars still running, but off pace. Talked about how at one point it had to have been frustrating for Koivu to watch Leroux sit near the lead for most of the race. Koivu is now firmly in front of Leroux. Tides turned really quickly on that one. Pit stop should be beginning in about 3 laps time. And to the point, next lap time will be BK Glover. There's Devereaux. Back to the front. We are rapidly approaching the final 50 laps of this absolutely incredible race. Pit stops have begun. I don't think anyone would have said that Sebastian Devereaux, Natalia Kurachenko, BK Glover, and Ronald Walker would be the top four at this stage of the race. Devereaux hadn't been in a champ car in 3 years. Kurachenko was starting last. Glover was starting ninth, but with recent events in Homestead, didn't see it lasting. There was a car, looked like it was blowing up. Doesn't look like it was. So, no incidents on pit lane. Kurachenko's in. Kurachenko pits on her own, leaving Devereaux out in front, relatively unchecked. Kovalkiewicz is in. Kovalkiewicz and Glover, two Alpines. Devereaux has set sail. Russell's dropped off. Devereaux, not wasting time, gets past Crane. Devereaux knew he couldn't sit behind Crane. It's a very smart move. And he's still staying out. Ray Taylor is out. Drops out of the race with an engine failure. The second one of the season. Who joined Kenosha, Lecty, and Marcelli in the retirement line. As Devereaux comes in now. And now we sit and wait. Rogers comes out of pit lane. There's Akira Sato getting ready to get past Thomas Rogers here. Keisha Fox. There's Devereaux. And there's the Hornet's Nest. He stays clear of it. Devereaux maintains the lead. What was already a brilliant comeback story for Sebastian Devereaux may have just turned into a masterclass. With one pit stop left in the cycle, Devereaux's home free. And there's a lot of smoke. No yellow, but a lot of smoke, and that's Esther Hofson. See if we can go back and see what happened here, because that is a lot of smoke. What was the issue? Here it is. Oh, that's why it is. Von Sonen and Hofson. They were trying to get past Kaylee Zappa. Von Sonen was closing in. And Zappa closed the door. And that's a hard second impact. How that didn't draw a caution is beyond me. Tim Cording's in the pit lane. You see damage on Zappa's car. A lot of people questioning why that was not a caution. Devereaux remains out in front. How is that not a caution? Surely many of the 400,000 in attendance are asking that question right now. Coming up on Hobson now. Hobson's going to try to stay out of the way as much as she can. Both the Cherokee GP cars are now in tow. Kopelkevich and Keisha Fox. Neither of them are on lead lap. However, they are battling for position. That is for 16th and 17th. All of this is for position right now except for Hobson. 16th, 17th, 18th on the screen. There's second place. The gap is 5 seconds. Down to 4. You have Kurachenko, Ronald Walker, Stephanie Porter Kelly. Christina Espinoza is not on the lead lap anymore. Carmen Jackson and Giuliano Insaldi are. There's also Evangeline Porter and Sakura Ishibashi, as well as Mildred Moon. There's Tim Cording, still trying to come along here. 9 laps down, inheriting 28th on the track. Astrid Crane sitting 30th at the moment, 10 laps down. There's the race leader. All alone. He's coming up on Kaylee Zappa. Devereaux did not waste any time with Astrid Crane. So you have to make his moves wisely here. Probably going to try to get a run. Likely in the turn 1. It seems like the wind favors turn 1 better than what it does turn 3. Devereaux's going to peek out. There you go. Mapped out with the wind in mind to make passing as easy as possible. When Devereaux was a full-time driver, not very often could you say that he was cold and calculated. That's all Devereaux's been so far today. The gap is closed. Kurachenko, Porter Kelly, and Saldi and Glover are all together. And that's why. Von Sonen still out, so is Esther Hofson. It'll be interesting to see who is worse for wear. It looks like Von Sonen may be that car. There's Devereaux. The pack is closing in. It's down to 2.2 seconds. This pack, even with Kaylee Zappa leading, is speeding up. Wessel going to try to take over the reins. Will do so, just barely. The gap altered significantly. It went from 2 seconds to 4, almost 5. 5.5. Devereaux's clear of air. He's coming up on Crane. But he is on his own. Porter came in. Seems a bit early, but she can make it from here without any more stops. This is where some interesting strategies come into play. And there's Devereaux. 2.68. Moon, Jackson, Porter Kelly can see him. Porter is the first one to pit, pitting off sequence, knowing that the window is 35 to 38 laps. Motor Moon's in front of that pack now. So is Porter Kelly. And they're rapidly approaching Tim Cordick. This is not going to be good. There we go. No. Oh, no. This is what we were all afraid of. Oh, no. Oh, my. And they're still wrecking. Jackson to Walker. Oh, my. 30 laps from the finish. Kept it out of the fence. And it gets it. That's just miserable. There's 3 major impacts here. Glover did get nose into the fence. He's stuck in the gray. That is a horrible crash. And we're going to look at this accident too. Wow. Walker just got loose. Walker simply got loose into turn 3. He got... Wow. That is something I have not seen before. We haven't seen that happen all race long. No one's gotten that loose into the corner. .25 to go. What did we just witness? The hardest accident of the race happens within 30 to go. And we'll give news when we get it. With 25 to go, we're going to try to finish this race under green. With rain in the area. A lot of us stagger back. Not sure what all that's for. But here we go. Several cars out of this race now. Don't even have time to process who all's left. It's Devereaux in front. Kurachenko second. Porticelli third. Sakura Ishibashi fourth. Cody Blackman fifth. Sixth is Andrew Draco. Andrew Draco, then Thomas Rogers. Anastasius von Sonen, who is 4 laps down at this point with damage. We have Akira Sato in 8th. 9th is Ronald Walker. 10th is Cameron Jackson. Both of them involved in that last accident. And they're all here. David Wessel's the first car a lap down. Then it's Keisha Fox, Christina Espinoza, Rachel Quaven Amy, and Alicia Kovalevich. 2 laps down are Tyler Parker, Esther Hoffson, Diego Jaramillo. 3 laps down is Hazel Lacasse. And then Anastasia Swansonen now up to 20th. And then Simona LaRose, 6 laps down, Asher Crane's 11. The battling is beginning now as we approach 20 to go. As you can expect, drivers are in an information blackout. Any information we get before the end of this race and the information we get, the drivers won't see until after they finish the race. Given the severity of the accident, I don't think we'll know anything either. Two cautions is all this race had. That second one is one that we're all thinking about. 7 cars, all battling for the ultimate prize. That's the Indianapolis 500 and their face on the Jermaine Espinoza trophy. Normally for those accidents, we'd pause. Mother Nature's not giving us time to pause, and as you can see from the clouds, that's why. Seven cars all with a shot. Kurachenko, Draco, Blackman, Ishibashi, Rogers, Devereaux, and Porter Kelly. Obviously, a lot of questions have to be asked. The conditions of the drivers. How avoidable was the accident? But all of that right now is secondary to the ones that are still left, the guys and girls that are still battling for arguably the biggest win of their careers. Kurachenko's been in control for most of the race after the restart. Devereaux, the man that's led most of the race, not out of it either. Kurachenko's trying to play a game here, using Jaramillo kind of as a staging tool. A move going into turn 1 is the more favorable move. Kurachenko's just going to hold station. We're approaching 16 to go. Draco's gonna make a move. Draco's tired of holding station. 16 laps to go. It's easy to see why. There's a 1 in 7 shot. We're gonna have a repeat winner of the Indianapolis 500. Draco's never won it. Blackman, this is his first ever time. Thomas Rogers never won it. Kurachenko, this is her first 500. Devereaux's never won it. Ishibashi's never won it. Porticali won in 2008. It's the 2017 world champion out front. 15 to go. And Devereaux's not where he needs to be. Thomas Roger has a very special accolade. Every season he's competed in, he's won a race in. He's only scheduled for 3. And he's got a chance to keep that streak intact in the most monumental way. They're approaching Crane. How brave are these drivers going to be? Draco moves high. That ties to have a move that almost... Let's have a move that caused the last accident. Thomas Rogers to the point. Thomas Rogers checks out and leads the Indianapolis 500. 13 to go. Blackman, Ishibashi, all get by. Crane was kind of a lifeline. For Devereaux it was. Tyler Parker's not going to sit back behind Astrid Crane. And that's going to give a bit of a reprieve at the expense of Andrew Draco. It's a 1-2 right now for Impulse. Samsung Racing Team Impulse. The news covered how the torch had to be passed at some point between Cat Devil Racing and Samsung Racing Team Impulse. What a way for this to happen. The lap car of Christina Espinoza between Ishibashi and Cody Blackman. Coming up on a lap car, that is Esther Hofson. Christina Espinoza going to spoil the party. $11 to go. Devereaux to second. Excuse me, third. Blackman second. Next car in front is Simona Leroux. The 3 cars still heavily in contention here. Rogers, Devereaux, and Blackman. Rogers in the black and silver, Devereaux in the blue and yellow. Blackman in the red, black, and white. The blue and white of Christina Espinoza sitting in the middle. Gaines caught up. Porter-Kelly's in this group. It's down to 4. Draco and Kurachenko may have lost too much time. But when do they catch Leroux? They caught her now. But Rogers got through. There's the gap. They need to move. Devereaux's going to move on Espinoza. There is smoke. And it's Akira Sato. Sato's out of the top 10. His race ends 6 laps early. It's coming down to 2. Too many cars between Blackman and Devereaux. Devereaux to the bottom. And Devereaux to the front. Six to go this time. Thomas Rogers trying to battle back. Kurachenko's back and forth. Draco's 5th. Porter-Kelly's dropped down to 6th. That's all thanks to Leroux. Sakura Shibashi stuck in 7th. That's 8th and 9th, and then 10th is Keisha Fox, who's right behind the leader right now. 5 to go. All eyes are on this group. Barring a miracle, there will be a new race winner. Ronald Walker with an engine failure. He's out from 8th. He won't see the finish. And he stays out of the way. So Ronald Walker won't be a factor. Thomas Rogers trying to set up a run. 4 to go. Kurachenko now to 2nd. Andrew Draco to 3rd. Coming to 2 to go. This is not what you want to see with 2 to go. Devereaux's trying to go. Crane's coming up. Coming to the white flag this time. Coming out of turn 4. Cars can't make it to finish. Blackman's in, so is Wessel. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go. Top 3 all in your screen. Devereaux, Kurichenko, Draco. It's down to 2. What can Kurichenko do? Kurichenko's looking. Coming out of 4, I don't think she's got enough. The winner of the 107th Indianapolis 500, Sebastian Devereaux. What a comeback. Kurichenko second, Andrew Draco in third. Thomas Rogers, in his first race in 2 years, will finish 4th. Stephanie Porticelli will finish 5th. Sakura Shibashi 6th. Cody Blackman will finish 7th. Keisha Fox 8th. Christina Espinoza 9th. Cameron Jackson hangs on for 10th. That was a run. The rain held off. The threat of rain held off for 3 hours. As they roll Sebastian Devereaux's car into victory lane. A lot of questions still have to be asked. We'll go through the starting lineup or the finishing order. You see the top 10 on your screen. Devereaux with the race win. Second fastest Indianapolis 500 in history. Ahead of Natalia Kurichenko in her first 500. Andrew Draco finishing third. Fourth is Thomas Rogers in his first race back since 2018. Stephanie Porticelli finishes her 12th Indy 500 in 5th position. Sixth is Sakura Ishibashi, her best Indy 500 finish to date. Seventh is Cody Blackman, who had to pit on the final lap, or with 2 laps to go. Finishes 7th, last car in lead lap. 8th place is Keisha Fox, the first car 1 lap down. Christina Espinoza finishes 9th. Cameron Jackson, with damage, finishes 10th. 11th is Alicia Kovalkiewicz. 12th is Rachel Koivanami. 13th is David Wessel. Cars start going multiple laps down with Tyler Parker sitting 14th. 15th is Diego Jaramillo. 16th is Esther Hofson. Both of them were 3 laps down. 4 laps down was Hazel Lacasse, who finishes 17th. 18th was Anastasius von Sonnen in that team's first race in Champ Car. Kearney Fashida Drive Force. A bit of a rude awakening, but a lot of learning experience for the new team. going into Pocono and Fontana, the next two races on their docket. Ronald Walker didn't get to see the checkered flag, but still finishes 19th ahead of Simona Leroux. Simona Leroux is 7 laps down. Akira Sato seems to have had an accident. We didn't get a chance to check on what that accident looked like. He winds up 21st. Astrid Crane, last car running, finishing 22nd, 13 laps down. And then you see the retirements. Evangeline Porter, Isabel Espinoza, Giuliano Ansaldi, BK Glover, Mildred Moon, Kaylee Zappa, Tim Courting. Then you have some of the calmer retirements. You have Ray Taylor, Kinemitsu Kinoshita, Nicole Lectie, and Patrick Marcelli finishing 33rd. A lot of questions left on the conditions of drivers. BK Glover, Giuliano Ansaldi, Tim Courting, Mildred Moon, among others. We don't have any information on those conditions. What a race. As nervous as that was, as nerve-wracking as that is. What a race. 2 cautions is all that we saw in the race. I'm speechless. But there's a reason it's called the greatest spectacle in racing. And obviously there's no script for this. The ups and the downs. We've seen plenty of them. And hopefully as the hours after this race wind through, we figure out that everyone's okay. But until then, we're in a holding pattern. For those that tuned in for the broadcast, we're glad you rode along with us for all 500 miles, for all 3 hours and 5 minutes. We're glad you joined us for the AT&T Champ Car World Series at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We'll see you next time.